Welcome back, dear travelers. We have news from afar. But before we get to that, we must give proper thanks to those who have helped. This opportunity has been brought to you by our faithful DM Gem, who takes the time to bring us to this world. The pictures brought to us by Tiki, our loyal lurker. Without her, our videos would lack imagery. And as always, a thank you to Spazz, who takes the time to edit and put the videos together and make sure credit is given where credit is due. Now, to get to the news from afar. Hear ye, we have news from afar. The stickers are on sale from now until forever, or if we sell out. Take haste upon this opportunity. The time to join the procrastinators is upon us. These stickers shine like rainbows in all of the lights. We send these stickers out everywhere. No place is too far, no place is too close. We will send you a sticker, or two, or three. You just have to head over to our Etsy, you see. The link is in the description or crawling across your screen. Just give it a click and be on your way to another adventure today. One last thing before we go. To follow along, you should click the subscribe and get up-to-date info on when videos are posted. You should hit that bell button and be the first ones to notice, and leave us a like so we know that you like us.
Last we joined our players, they had visited, or rather stumbled into, a mining camp that belonged to a noble lord. Each of our characters have separated by this point where we rejoin them, each investigating or chatting with some of the miners, guards, or just generally wandering around from the campsite. You all have lost sight of each other. Apart from Knell and Gillie, you two are wandering around together, mainly because Knell is trying to keep Gillie out of trouble. Good luck with that is all I can say. But anyway, it's now pretty late in the day. For reference, this is still the same day where you did your combat with the wolves, as well as played a merry tune for the miners. By now the sun has set and darkness is descending upon the once blue skies. Or grey skies. Who knows? This world works in mysterious ways. But either way, fires are being lit and the smell of smoke and burning wood are filling our players' nostrils. We are going to go to Knell and Gillie. The pair of you have wandered off from the center of where the group had started and have lost sight of Hawks, who had wandered off in search of perhaps some healing for the rest of you, but she has not returned. Knell, Gillie, where are you two right now?
Illy would probably still be slowly wandering through the tent after being told that Hawks would be right back and think, okay, I'm going to use this chance to make more coin. And so he's just walking through the tents, playing on his lute. Just softness, because it's not Illy if he's not playing on his lute trying to make money.
Fair enough. You're acknowledged by various miners and the guards, but you're not really earning any more coin. Everyone seems to have acknowledged that, yeah, you're around, yeah, you're playing, but duty's cool for mostly the guards, and the miners are more interested in trying to get some sleep before the day begins the next day.
Now I have a very
No.
important question. Are there any
Yep.
pretty faces I've noticed?
Um. Sure. There's been a few that have had your interest. But it's rather hard to tell them on the miners, as there's like black powder covering faces and hands, some like stone dust littering clothes, and pretty much most of them don't smell that great either from long hours and hard at work.
Pretty
As
faces
for
mean
the
nothing when it comes to smelling dirt.
as for the guards, a lot of them are wearing helmets, and the ones that aren't really giving you much notice. Just going about with their patrols. So now, what are you doing?
I'm kind of excited over the gold I got. I'm still looking at it. It's so pretty and shiny. I've never gotten so much money at one time before. Wow. But anyway, she's kind of just following behind Gillie. She's pretty happy with this mining camp now. They gave her money. They enjoyed her music. They don't seem to mind her being here. So as long as they're not all grouping around her or poking at her or asking her questions or something like that, she's good. She's just gonna follow along behind Gillie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fair enough then. Could I ask now to roll a d6, please?
Okay.
Not
Let
add in
me look.
anything, just roll a d6.
2.
2, right. Um, by now you're pretty tired, but it's like not so much from the travel, as you're pretty used to that, but more so from the throbbing, deep-set pain in your leg. Um,
Be
you're
limping
pretty
pretty
sure
hard
you
by now. I danced a little bit. It probably wasn't a good idea.
yeah, you're very much regretting dancing around, although you had fun. So the regret is there. In your opinion, it was worth it still. You haven't had this much fun in quite a long time. However, having a quick glance down at the bandage that you've snugly wrapped around your leg, it a bit of alarm goes through you. The bandage is no longer white,
Oh
and
dear.
neither is most of your trouser leg around the area where you were hit, where you were hurt. A deep, rusty red has set into the fabric, the bandage showing a more brighter red due to the once white color.
So I'm going to be getting dizzy and I'm gonna look down and my ears are gonna go back and I'm gonna be like, uh, Gillie, I think I need to sit down. Gillie?
He turns and looks at her, then kind of does a once over and probably notices the very red bandage. And he's like, huh, looks like you got a problem there. Do you need help? He looks around over at the miners that's close by and is like, anybody got a help for this pretty face kitty? I don't have bandages.
Sit
I don't think.
down.
Some of the miners look over and some approach with a bit of concern. Damn, how did you get that? One of them asks.
We got attacked by wolves. I was playing pretty music and they
Yeah.
liked my music.
I
You
think they
were.
liked it a bit too much, says the miner.
Yeah,
All right. Um, one of the miners leans down and scoops up now. Come on, let's get you to the healer's tent. Are you coming with?
Illy,
Someone the miner asks.
Illy trots along and looks over at Knell's like, you've been carried a lot today. I'm jealous.
Unusual for me.
Hmm. Somewhat. The miners are a bit of quick pace, although it's now just the one from the 3 that had originally came over. So they approach a semi-large tent. There's a couple of chairs scattered around just on the outside. The main noticeable thing about the tent itself is that the fabric, while it could be identified as white, it's rather yellowed, so perhaps age or even the weather has taken its toll on the fabric. Another interesting fact is that over one of the somewhat flaps to the entrance of the tent, stitched into the fabric is a large tree, a dark brown used for the trunk, and much brighter, vibrant sort of shades of green make up its leaves. Someone the miner somewhat gently uses Knell to open the flap and calls, "Hey Doc, I got a patient here for you." So the miner sets Knell down onto this rather plain, stained brown table, and just stands there, gesturing for Gillie to come inside as well. Somewhat out from behind a couple of boxes appears a young woman with deep russet hair and deeper blue eyes. She's very what's the word? Lean but well built. Not exactly built for fighting, but stealth, perhaps, or even scout work. Her clothes consist of a brown and green robe with the tree that you saw earlier stitched onto the breast pocket. Her hair is done up in a simple ponytail as she comes to her. Right then, she says, "What seems to be the problem?"
My leg, I am bleeding. It's very painful, and can you help? Can you help me, please? Please, I would appreciate.
And then Ellie comes over and is like, and after that, can you help me with that pretty face of yours?
Somewhat surprisingly, the young woman just glances at Gillie and then just proceeds to ignore him.
Totally likes me.
And turns to, "I will certainly try my best, my dear. Now, can you tell me exactly how you received the injury?" She says, and begins to untie and unwrap the old bandage to get a closer look at the wound.
Wolf tried to eat me. I'm not so sure that he didn't manage to get a bit of it.
Eat you? Well then, see what I have in my magic bag. Somewhat, the woman take the instant, gently rotate Nell's leg to get a real good look of the wound. That's
No.
definitely a deep bite
Flinch.
mark.
Ow, ow, ow.
You're very brave. Here, she says, as she pulls out a small oriental sort of vial. And the liquid through the clear glass, you can see a green color liquid that gives a bit of a sparkle in the firelight. Here, drink this.
Like this, would
Should
I?
ease the pain.
I probably wouldn't recognize the thingy that she gave me, right?
Um, would you
Or
like
is
to
it a
roll?
common thing?
I'll say roll a intelligence check.
Illy's just giving this healer the eyes of.
Oh,
He's
I
very
got an
focused on his
18.
pretty face.
I rolled an 18.
An 18. Okay, you're Nell's quite surprised to see this small bottle. It's a minor health potion. They're very hard to come by because of the ingredients, how long the process takes, and any that are sold are usually in major cities. But you're more grateful that you're being offered one anyway.
Very happy to get this.
Go
I
on then,
will.
it's not poison, says the healer,
Oh,
offering it out again.
thank you. Oh gosh. Do I need to pay you for this, or
Just drink.
thank you? And I'll drink it down.
Okay. With a minor health potion, Nell feels, as she just swallows each gulp of the potion, a tingling rush of energy go up and down through her body, and then it seems to center around where the wound is. And everyone can watches in somewhat stunned silence as the wound begins to close just slightly, becoming less severe and looking a little healthier. Now you have regained 9 hit points.
Oh my god. Let's see.
There we go. Is the pain a little better now? That's what she
Oh my
asks.
god. Thank you so much. Oh,
Not an
thank you so
issue.
much. Thank you.
Anyway, let's see. Let me just go fetch some water and we'll clean up the rest of the wound a little bit. The rest of it will have to heal on its own. Alright?
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. And so once she walks off to this just this plain white bowl and dips a clean cloth into it and then comes back over and begins to wash away the dirt and the grime on the wound. So what about your friend? Someone she asks, glancing at Gillie. Are they hurt?
I I didn't see them get hurt, Gilly. Are you okay?
Just really focused on this lady, and then he kind of shakes and looks over at Neil. I honestly forgot you were there for a moment. There was a pretty face. Did you need something?
I think he's fine.
He goes back to look at this pretty face. Such a pretty face. He's
The
very
healer can
enchanted at the moment.
the healer continues to ignore Gillie, reassured somewhat that apparently they're fine. There we go, all done. And so she hands over a clean bandage as well. Here, keep it wrapped up tight, and try to keep the weight off your leg for a little bit. Okay? And make sure you get some rest. I know adventurers don't take rest very often, but I highly recommend it with that leg. I'm sure you don't want to limp for the rest of your life.
Yes, if it is okay, then I think that I would like to lay here. If can I rest here? Would that be okay?
So she glances up at the tent, top of the tent for now. I suppose it would be alright for a little while. I suppose, like, the healing tent is the best way to recollect a person's self and deal with what they have been through. I will say it's not very warm in here despite the fire, but you're welcome to stay until you feel a bit better.
Yes, it is all right. I have fur.
You do what, sorry?
I have fur. I think I will be okay with the level of heat. Thank you. If you need me to move, please let me know.
Of course. And then someone, the healer turns to Gillie, and someone snaps their fingers in front of Gillie's face. Excuse me. Can you come back to Earth for a second?
For you, anything.
You're one of those, then.
He's just like
Are
really
you
examining
injured?
her face, just because the prettiness and the blue eyes, just really looking into them.
Okay, what was the perception
18.
then that Gillie? 18. Alright, now that this healer is now has stepped quite a bit closer, the deep blue of the eyes is given just a tiny bit of an offset by this rather striking green that's just lining through. Something that Gillie recognizes, particularly from her own history, from his own history. Keep doing that. Could Gillie roll a history, please?
17.
17. Okay. Gillie, seeing this, your mind is sent back to when you were a child. You remember watching the many people that you grew up with moving around and praying. And you remember you're particularly the person who looked after you.
He
How
starts to tear up.
During prayer, the deep brown of his eyes were often offset by a sharp, sparkling yellow during prayer. It gives you an indication that this healer perhaps worships one of the six. Although you haven't seen green before, yellow is most common to you.
You have the
Are
most
you
beautiful
alright?
eyes.
The healer asks.
And he realizes he started tearing up and he goes to dry his face. I'm sorry, apparently I got a little emotional. I'm normally not this sensitive. He's just trying to like, stop the tears.
Okay then. Are you going to answer my question?
What was your question
Are
again?
you hurt?
Oh, perfectly fine.
Making sure, says the healer. I've known many an adventurer to hide an injury until they're almost dead on their feet,
Oh, do you?
so to speak.
He grabs his shirt and kind of pulls it open. You want to check my body? Make sure I'm not lying.
The healer you just see this healer go a bit red in the face, and someone shakes her head, seeming to shake herself out of her own thoughts. No, that's fine. I will trust your word. But if that's the case, can you please leave my tent if you're not injured?
He almost looks a little sad. Looks over at Knell, who he's still kind of standing by, and he's like, "I'm gonna go try to find us some lodging," and then walks off to go talk to other miners to see if he can acquire a tent for sleeping.
Somewhat as Gillie walks off, the healer just shakes their head. What a rather individual who worships one of the gods. Never thought that he would actually follow the most positive one of them all. But beggars can't be choosers, depending on who they are brought up by. Says and goes about sorting out the rest of her supplies. Letting Knell rest. The miner that brought Knell in, the miners followed you. The one who brought Knell in.
Oh, I didn't even know he was still around. I thought he already left.
Nope, he had been watching and observing.
Ah, okay. Well, seeing how the miner's still there, I will turn to the miner and ask if there is a spare tent or anything.
So the miner tries to rub off a bit of the dust that's on his face, and it just spreads it around. Not that I know of. I could certainly ask one of the guards. They would know better than I.
Ailey just saunters over to the closest guard, then, just completely ignoring him now. And
So the miner shrugs and just carries on the way he was intending to go. Some of the guards you pick, so to speak, has just taken this one moment to get a drink of water. Some of the helmets removed, and someone stands up a little straighter as they notice you on your way.
he's
Can I help you?
he's just kind of happily almost bouncing along because he can. Oh yes. I need to know, is there a spare tent for me and my crew that I have come with, because I don't have a tent. I have a bedroll, but I don't have a tent, and one is injured, and we need a little bit of space, if all possible.
Someone the guard moves his helmet so it's underneath his arm. And someone glances up. Well, there is a spare one, but I don't exactly know how roomy it will be, so to speak.
Oh, this is fine. We can all cuddle together. What? He just does this whole little like shaky thing of excitement, close quarters.
Some of the guard someone raises an eyebrow. So it's that kind of companionship. Somewhat he closes that. Well, if that's your preference, there's one towards the edge of the camp where your group came in.
Awesome.
You should find it. It's just check just like take a glance on the inside. If it's completely empty besides a fire, then it's free.
Thank you very much. He turns and starts going towards where he said the tent would be.
Sure. Meanwhile, however, we're gonna go over to Alyn. Alyn, you had still taken this time to study the various aspects of the camp, listening in on different things, different conversations that you can pick up. Picked up several rumors throughout your walking. The most interesting of the rumors was the supposed sighting of one of the six. It was never said which one, but by far it was the most interesting rumor that you've heard. The shield emblem on the banner still holds some small of your interest, and you know that the eagle symbol on it means something, but you're still struggling to remember. But as of this moment, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, I wandered around picking up tidbits. Just kind of wander around.
Yep. With your wanderings and your lovely passive perception, you take notice of some couple of other things like around. You notice that it seems to be like an increased number of the miners perhaps returning from the mine, where they're excavating to hopefully obtain these crystals or something else. You're not sure what the goal for the miners is here. As far as you understand, though, these miners were just hired by the noble who's residing in a tent, as well as the guards. Throughout some of your walk, you also see some of the Guards beginning to wind down. More torches are being lit as the sky gets darker and night descends. Yeah, little things here and there that you begin to notice. You do smell, eventually though, as you near what seems to be the center of this camp, the smell of roasting meats and vegetables. So somebody has started dinner, perhaps. Also, I'd like to give Alyn the option to going finding one of the others, if they so wish.
Yeah, she probably would be looking around to see if she sees anyone of her group, I guess.
Alright then, can you roll a perception check for me?
Perception. 3, so that's a 13.
There you go. It takes you a while, but eventually, you do come across one, Salvia, the other half-elf of your group, who seems to be not bringing any notice to herself or of anything of the like, but rather just trying to keep to themselves, trying to stay out of the way.
Have you noticed anything? She asked.
My character looks surprised but relieved to see someone else because she wasn't really comfortable being surrounded by so many unknown people, even if she doesn't exactly know her yet. She will try to tell that the other day she heard about here from another miner that they were talking about finding the crystals that they were sent by a noble person.
Okay, do you share this information
Yeah,
with Alyn?
yes.
Anyway, Alyn and Salvia, you're just stood around just watching and observing everyone prepping for the evening meal. Evening meal or preparing to go to sleep. What would you two care to do?
I guess go over them and ask them if there's any extra that we could eat, I guess.
Okay, you want to get some food? Alright then. Somewhat seeing the general direction the miners are going in, as well as what you remember from your wander around, you sort of begin to guide Salvian towards the center. Towards the center of this encampment, where people are beginning to chat. It's getting quite noisy, very similar to the tavern. And the smell of roasting meat and vegetables, well, just entices you closer. You see tables have been set out as well as just various chairs just dart about, or some are people are just even sitting on the floor. So, stood off to one side is an older gentleman, black hair, speckled white, and like a 5 o'clock shadow. He's not bulky or anything like that. He's just like stirring a cauldron where the smell of meat and vegetables is coming from. Do you approach?
She asks if there's enough left over for her and her companion to have some extras.
Sure, he says. I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of spare balls around here. Someone he looks through a crate behind him. Here they are. They're a bit chipped and a bit cracked, but they should do well enough. He says, passing the 2 empty balls over to you, and then ladling some of the contents of the cauldron into the bowls. It's not a very big portion, but it will do just well.
Thank you, she says, passing the, giving her the other bowl. Make sure she has the other bowl.
Salvia also thanks him, looking kinda surprised about being offered food, even if Alyn asked, because she wasn't really expecting anyone to give them food.
Someone make your way out of the queue, so you're not just stood in the way. And you found a place to sit. You can just feel the heat of the flames from the fire pit, but the cold wind continues to blow. So you're not warm, and it's getting colder.
Salvia will wonder where the others are.
Okay, are you saying this to Alyn, or?
Yes, she will hesitate visibly, but finally ask, where you think the others are? I haven't seen any of them for a while now.
Have I noticed any of them since we got broken up besides her, Salvya?
You've seen the red skin of the tiefling, Gillie, now and then, following a miner who was carrying Knell, but other than that, you haven't seen anybody else. Kiri seems to have done a vanishing act once more, and Hawk's disappeared somewhere.
Okay, and would it have been obvious kind of where they were heading with, no?
No, it would not. As you saw the direction they were going in, just not where they ended up.
I saw some of them earlier, she said, holding her cloak closer around her to block out some of the wind.
You're successful somewhat, blocking out the wind. It's still just a cold night, so nothing that you haven't been through before, but still enough to be noticeable. And we will hop over to Kiira. And a gentleman of human descent with light brown hair put up in a sort of short ponytail with plain brown eyes and tan skin, a chiseled face, detailing his noble ancestry. Dressed in some smart clothes with a long scarf looped around his neck. So I heard you. So you're looking for work?
I'm looking for a deal. Apparently, you need people here.
That we do. We have many different jobs here that need to be done.
I'm quite. I have some people with me, and we are a rather strong bunch. What kind of work do you have here?
Well, there's excavation, scouting, general guard duties here as well in the main encampment. You got transport, or you have patrolling on the outer edges. Depends what you want.
Well, I'm quite used to transporting rather precious things around, you know? It's kind of my job.
Hmm.
Though my party members, they are quite good fighters and quite strong. We were just earlier facing a wolf pack, actually, and we managed to drive them all away with little damage.
Hmm. Someone using those red winds, like looking you up and down rather subtly, or trying to be. Hmm.
Kiira is kind of putting her hands back and trying to look bigger than she is, and it looks very like right back at him,
Okay.
quite
Just
trying to be a bit intimidating.
all right then. Roll intimidation.
7.
7. You puff up essentially. It's not the best. You figure as Redwind doesn't look that impressed by it, but he doesn't really do much about it. Very well then. I will consider hiring you and your companions, shall we say. Please feel free to rest and dine here in our encampment for the night.
Thank you.
I will have one of my knights come and find you later, tomorrow, so that I can discuss with the rest of your companions the terms of what you will be doing, as well as any payment.
Very well.
I bid you good night.
Kiira nods and leaves the tent.
Well, it's like the two guards that were still outside the tent, like each look at you, and it's just like, how did you not get your head ripped off? Says one of the guards.
You kind of get to know the nobles in my kind of work. If you have something what they need, then usually you get something, you can make a deal out of it. It usually works out.
Well, it seems to have worked in your favor.
Certainly. We'll see more about that tomorrow.
Hey, put it this way, at least you weren't. We weren't told to attack you. That's always a good thing with Lord Redwin.
Yeah. Do you happen to know where my companions are currently?
Some of the talk is that there's one in the healer's tent, and the rest are heading towards the center of the encampment. Someone says the other guard, pointing in the vague direction to where the healing tent is, as well as further down towards the center. Your best bet is to head that way.
Kiira thanks them and starts walking towards that direction.
Okay. And we're gonna hop back to Knell. Knell had dozed off while having a rest in the healer's tent, just observing what the doc was doing, mostly sorting out bottles of what seems to be either more healing potions or some other sorts of liquids that you can't really identify. Bandages were being set out and everything else. It had grown quite chilly that you could even feel it through your fur at this point. So the dog looked over and raised a breath. Ah, you've woken from your nap then.
I suppose I did. How long was I out?
No more than half hour. Seems like you needed the rest.
It's been a day. Where has my companion gone? Do you know?
I mean the tiefling?
Yes. I need to. Where is he? She? Them?
I'm pretty sure they're a he. I have no idea. Either way, your companion left to go see if they can find some room for you. For you and your rest of your companions.
That is surprisingly considerate. Do you know where?
I wouldn't. But by now I wouldn't be surprised if most of your group would be in the center of the encampment. It is dinner time.
Oh, I suppose I should go over there then. I appreciate all that you've done for me. I think that I will go and find my friends.
Of
And
course. Just do me a favor. Try to stay out of trouble here.
I will do my best.
Hmm.
And
Have a good night then.
Nell will jump up off of that. Well, not jump, but she will get up off of the bed and probably use her walking staff, which she has as part of her gear, and hobble her way out and towards the smell of fire.
Heavy scent of smoke is coming from the center. Following that, you soon come across Alyn and Salvya. You also notice Kiira and Gillie heading towards your small group as well. There's plenty of chatter.
Uh, if possible during this dinner session, I would like to try to get my wolf meat cooked and or salted, if possible.
Sure. The salting process would essentially take a couple of days, but you can get it cooked now and then have it dried out.
I think that I would like to do that. Because it'll
Okay.
keep a lot better if cooked, right?
Yeah,
Rather
it
than
will.
letting it sit to rot in my bag.
Yeah, essentially, it's been a couple of hours, and it's not been long enough for any like rot to set in. But you're very conscious that if you don't do anything about it soon, it won't be long before something does.
Yeah. So I would like to cook my meat.
Certainly. Talking to an elderly man by a cauldron, you arranged to get it roasted over one of the smaller fires. And he tells you that it should be done by morning. If you leave it with him, or you could stick around and cook it yourself. It was your choice.
Is really feeling this day even after her small nap. So she's probably not going to sit around all night and watch the meat cook. She will leave it with this guy.
Fair enough. So he takes your meat, and you just hang around just long enough to watch him set about cooking it. And then you return to your companions. Alyn and Salvya, the pair of you have chatted like throughout the time you were eating this. identified from the first bite as stew, with soft vegetables and tender meat. With what perhaps could have been some just rather plain spices added into the mix. The two of you take notice of Knell returning.
Salvia could give Knell a shy smile and a little wave and greet her. Hello, we were wondering where you were. Are you okay?
Gillie took me over by the healing tent, and they saw to my leg. It was bleeding a good bit, but how are things going? Is everybody okay?
Uh, yeah, we just got some food. He said.
It's fantastic. Do you have any extra that you may have gotten? I left the wolf meat to cook with that man over there, but I don't have anything. Can I have some of what you have? Is
Yes,
that
of
okay?
course.
Oh, thank you so much.
I
I'm not
Do
I
I get my
assume
very...
own bowl, or do I get to sit down and just eat out of their bowl?
Salvia will offer the bowl because they were given a spare ones, so she isn't sure if there's any more spare bowls.
sadly you find out that the two bowls Alyn and Salvia were given were the last two. The rest
Oh,
were broken in transport.
I
So
will
you'll have to
bravely
share.
plop my ass down and eat from Salvia's bowl. I don't give a shit about germs.
Well, being in
If,
the life of an adventurer, you don't really get a choice. It's like you eat when you eat. You ain't got. It's either that or starve.
if he finishes it, I'll gives her the rest of hers too, or anything she has
Oh,
left if
that's
she
so
wants it.
sweet.
Hmm.
You're both so sweet. Oh my gosh.
I assume by this point, Nell's in almost tears.
A little bit. She hasn't had cooked food in a while. She's been eating her rations.
Kiri and Gillie, the pair of you come across this sight of Knell sat in the between Alyn and Salvia, and she looks to appear to be almost crying. As like Alyn and Salvia are just smiling, just looking a little pleased with themselves.
It comes up, it's like, I want to be you now. You get held, you get fed, you are living the life I want to live. I'm jealous. Italy just plops down in a seat.
It's just sitting. Yeah, it's just like sit on the ground.
So it seems that you guys apparently got some food already. The Lord promised that we can all stay here for the night and eat, and he'll have a chat with us tomorrow.
About what? Yeah, or Alyn asked.
He's offering us work.
Oh, and what kind of work?
You'll see tomorrow. Kiira goes towards the place where they share food to grab a bowl for herself.
Again, you're told that they gave the
Oh,
last two spare balls
oh,
to Alyn and Salvia. The guy says that there's plenty of plenty of stew left. It's just that they have no more bowls.
I'm pretty sure I'm done eating, so I can offer my bowl to Kiira.
Well, I assume that either Alyn or Salvia, depending on who gave their ball to Knell, that they've now finished their food. So you
Don't
got
they
two empty spare
have?
bowls.
Gave me the bowls, I think.
Well, I assume that they tipped the stew that was in one of their bowls into one that was given to Knell.
So it's probably Alyn. If they ask her, she'll give up her bowl since she's done with it.
Since they do travel a lot, don't they have any kind of their own bowl that they carry around with them in their bags?
Essentially, no. In the explorers or dungeon kits, there's like rations, but they're mostly dried meats, which you can just carry around in a cloth, nuts, fruits, things like that.
I have a mess kit.
Me too.
If that has anything.
Right, a mess kit would actually have like your basic cup, a small bowl or plate. Normally, that's left up to the player, and like a wooden fork. That's about it.
Oh,
So I guess
yes, you
mine
have
would
bowls.
offer it up if she doesn't want that.
Actually, since the others most like, does Kiira see anyone kind of like? There must be people who have finished already eaten. So, is there any place where people have been washing their bowls or anything like that?
It's probably like after like observing everybody for around the fire for a bit. You do notice like some who seem to have finished their foods and their drinks head to like not so much like just a large barrel, and they're like dunking their bowls and plates in it and then just leaving it on this sealed crate. Very basic washing.
if Alyn and Salvia know that they got the last spare bowls, they would know to offer Kiira a bowl.
Yes.
Well, they know that they got the last bowl, like the last two spare bowls. So yeah, they do know that. It's obviously up to them if they offer it to Kiri or not.
Knell does not know. She is happily eating her stew.
I imagine they can borrow the second bowl for the next person.
Gillie's just gonna go over there, noticing no bowls, and just opens mouth like, just pour it in. Just pour it in. I don't know bowls. Just pour the food in. Ah.
Alyn just kind of looks at him weird.
Someone, the guy just looks at Gillie and it's just like the look on his face is like, I really don't want to.
Oh, come on, don't be shy. It's just food. Just pour it in. This is like jagged teeth. Tiefling opening his mouth wide for the food. Ah.
At this, Alyn pulls out the rest her mess pack and just pulls out what she has in there to give to them.
Do you pull out a bowl, a fork, a cup? Choose. You got like 3 items in there.
I guess the bowl and cup. That way, they could use the cup as a bowl. Since
Sure.
they had something.
Sure, the guy looks really grateful and like ladles a portion of the stew into the bowl and just hands it to Gillie.
Well, that's just rude. He takes the bowl and just walks away.
You just watch the guy mouth. It's like, how is that rude?
Gillie was really hoping to get hand fed. Fed by the hand food chef.
Was the Russian guy even pretty or not?
I don't know. I didn't even roll a perception.
So yeah, what does Kiri decide to do?
Well, since there's already the balls like in the side, and I doubt the hygiene norms are different from this time of age, so she just picks a bowl which is in the water and kind of rinses it off and goes to grab some food. Goes to the ration guy.
Sure, and the guy like ladles you like the last of the stew.
Then Kiira goes next to the others and sits on the ground to eat.
Sure. So yeah, as you guys finish your food and take the time just to relax for a moment or two, to take in the day's events, eventually one of the guards someone comes over and looks like rather hesitant and a bit nervous to approach. Is there a Gillie among you? Someone he asks. The voice gives away that the guard is actually quite young. Perhaps the teenager just into adulthood.
Gillie perks up. Is there someone said my name?
The poor guard jumps. Yeah, I have a message for you from what was her name? Hawks?
He runs over, grabs him by the shoulder, and pulls him close. What is this message? I need to know.
So you just hear the guy whimper. It's just like, please get off me. Please get off me. Get off!
He pulls closer. No. Message now.
He's just like, the guy sounds like he's almost in tears as he relays the message that an emergency had come up and Hawks had to leave very quickly, but sends her regards to the rest of you regardless of that, and hopes to meet up again.
The worry look in his eyes, and I can't roll right now. The dice kick is broken, so I don't know how distraught he is and if he'll actually run after her or not.
Would you
Sidekick
like
broke.
one of us to roll?
I have no dice. Yes, can you roll Hickory for me, please? A d20.
Alright, rolling a d20. Do you want me to roll the white one, the purple one, the purple one, the blue one? The other
Purple! Pick a purple.
Okay. Glitter purple.
Glitter purple!
6.
He does not go after, but he is very concerned at least. And lets this poor man go.
The poor guy, you let go of him and he just passes out on the floor.
Gillie pokes with the hoof. I think it killed him. Totally my looks.
So yeah, this poor guard is passed out and being poked by a hoof. Other than that, the rest of it's quiet. The rest of the area is quiet. Was there anything in particular that everyone would like to do?
Alyn asks, "Is he okay?" After he collapses.
Who are you asking?
Kind of in general, but also Gillie, I guess. This is at his feet.
I don't know. He just keeps poking with his hoof. I think he's dead.
It might be nice to stop poking him, I think.
He just continues to poke, nudging.
Okay, we'll say maybe after
Later.
like 10 minutes that the guard comes round, still being poked by a hoof, and is quick to scramble up and away. It's just like, why me? He's like crying as he runs off.
Poor guy.
Gillie goes back and finishes off his food and his bowl that's probably now cold.
Probably a little bit.
Oh, and then tells people that he got them a tent and it's all set up for them to sleep in. So they have somewhere to rest.
How does everybody react to that news? That probably should have been spoken earlier.
Yes.
Alyn is just thinking that she'll take a look at it. It probably won't sleep in it.
Oh, ears perk right up. She is happy to get someplace to sleep that is not somewhere she can be rained on.
Kiira
So-
mentions that Lord Redwind did promise that we could take shelter here, so probably there's other tents too, if people want so, which have spaces. Don't know.
Gillie has a tent for us already, then. Oh, where is it, Gillie? I think I would love to get some rest.
He gets up to sleeping the bowl where it's at and starts, "Follow me!" and starts walking out.
Knell will
Okay.
scramble to hand the bowl to somebody else and grab her walking stick so she can follow. She knows
So
Gillie's not gonna
like to
wait
have-
for her.
Okay.
So,
Fair assumption. Everyone's sorry, Scarlet. Go on.
no, I mean, since Salvia heard that Knell was hurt and he had to go to the healer for her leg, she would offer had to walk.
Okay. Knell?
No, it's okay. I have a stick.
You sure? I don't want you to open your guns again.
You're very sweet. I don't want to lose the tiefling.
It is pretty dark, so Gillie is pretty actually well disguised. It's only like the occasional torchlight that gives him away where he's going.
I'm pretty sure. Well, first of all, dark vision, so I can probably see him okay. But also, I can smell him.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't want to lose the tiefling, so I am going to hobble as quickly as I can after the tiefling. And Salvia is very sweet, and Knell is very grateful, but she's also moving.
Yep. So anyone who has dark vision, you can actually see around you as if it was like daytime. It's all a bit of a grayscale, but
We all
you can
have
see.
dark vision.
Doesn't all of us have, actually?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think
We
the
all
only
do.
one who doesn't is actually Hawks.
Yeah.
Fox is half orc. She should have dark vision, shouldn't she?
I don't think so. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we next have Hawks with us. Anyway.
Kiira goes to talk with a guard and asks him if there's any tents that aren't completely full where they could sleep. Since the Lord did promise us we could stay overnight.
Someone the guard considers. As far as I'm aware, there's only one empty tent. So he says, like gesturing towards the outer edge, in the direction that Gillie left in, with Knell following. The rest are either semi-full, got supplies in there, or are occupied fully. A lot of us are having to bunk with each other.
Kiira, thanks for the information.
Alyn had followed after Knell and Gillie. to see where they had gone.
Kiira decides to also follow them.
Certainly. So I assume that everyone's following after Gillie and Knell and Salvia. Everybody's in that way.
Yep.
Alrighty then. Gillie, you proceed to stop in front of one of the tents. It's a square-based tent. Peering aside, there's like metal mounts, somewhat hooked in for torches on some of the wooden posts. Currently there are none. It's completely dark inside the tent, and it's on the bare ground, but it's a tent. You have roof over your head. It's spacious as long as nobody minds sometimes being in each other's space.
Well, I figured because Illy's already been here that he probably would have at least set up the fire. But then I was magically with the rest of the group, and so I kind of just went with it. But I figured he checked it out and started the fire at least, because it was becoming night and warmth.
Yeah, okay then. So yeah, Gillie, you have started the fire. You've kept it low, so as not as to risk of burning the tent to the ground. So yeah, it's pretty warm inside that tent.
Knell will sigh gratefully and make her way inside and start laying out her bedroll because she has one of those.
Certainly. What about the rest of you?
I figured Gilly would have already rolled out his.
I don't know if I have one. Let me check. That would be in the. Would it be in the Explorers one? Explorers pack?
Should say what's in it.
Explorers pack
At
has
the
a bedroll.
find.
Because I have one too, so I think we have the same thing.
Okay, then I would have one, but I'd probably not set it up and just kind of go over to one of the sides of the walls or something and lean against it.
Sure.
And technically, Gilly has 2 bedrolls because I got 2 different packs. So he uses one of the bedrolls as a pillow and then another one for his blanket. Because yay, 2 packs!
Kiira goes into a into a corner and then just rests her back. There was a metal pole, right?
Wooden, but yes.
A wooden pole. So she kind of leans to it and sits there for now.
Salvia have a bedroll?
Yes, she has one. Also, the bedroll is just like to lay on it, but you need to have a separate blanket, right?
Yeah, in most cases, a bedroll is just considered that you have the roll and a blanket.
It's basically an all-in-one thing that you can then use to sleep.
Oh, okay, because I wasn't sure if it was just like a, let's say, a thin mattress, or if it was like when you go to camping and you can close it around you, a sleeping bag.
It's just
portable bed.
Yeah, essentially a bedroll is either leather with like cotton stuffed inside, and usually in most cases, a bedroll is considered like the base, which is the leather stuffed with cotton, and like a blanket that you also carry. That's just what consists of a bedroll.
Okay, because if the bedroll has something to cover herself, she will go to ask Kiira if she has a bedroll or a blanket, or if she needs one.
I linked a picture.
Okay.
Kiira looks at Salvia and says that, no, I don't have one. But I'll be fine. She does have a rather warm cape with her.
Gillie
Okay.
takes the bedroll
If you
from under his head and chucks it at her.
Okay.
what?
Face.
Kiri, do you catch this? Like, are you
Like,
looking
not.
at Gillie?
I was a bit startled when it came at me, but I did manage to block it with my hand.
I think it would take more than a hand, but
Wouldn't that
I
be
think
some
this
sort
is
of
a
like-
roll that you gotta make.
it's not really a roll. It's just essentially was Kiri looking at Gillie at the time that Gillie threw it.
Well, I was sitting in a corner, so I can
Yeah,
kind of see
fair,
everyone.
fair say you just catch it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, use this. I have spares. And then lays it more under and proceeds to go to sleep because he is tired. And he's one of those people that's like, he'll be awake one moment and then gone the next.
Kiira kind of looks at the tiefling and then just says thanks.
Okay. I assume through various means, everyone settles for
Knell
sleep.
would like to invite Salvia to sleep right next to her. She likes this girl.
Aw,
She kind of likes Alyn too. Alyn gave her medicine and soup. So she'll probably question after Alyn and ask if she's comfy. Because Alyn's just kind of sitting there against the side of a tent.
I'm okay, she says, kind of holding on or rubbing her arm, I guess.
And that's going to catch Nell's notice. Like, are you sure? Is your arm hurting you?
Just a bite.
Oh, you got bit too?
Not
Do you need to see
too
the
bad.
healer?
It should be okay, she said.
Bleeding? Have you wrapped it up? Do you have some? Did you get some of the disinfecting things that Salvia has? Salvia, do you have more of those plants that you used for my leg?
yes. I gave her some before, but if it's still bothering you, I can prepare some more.
It's wrapped up at the moment. It's fine. I'll take a look at it in the morning if it needs it.
Are you sure you don't want to lay down?
I'm good.
I don't mind sharing my bedroll if you want to lay with me. I'm very warm.
She gives a smile, but says, I have my own. Thank you, though.
All right. And cast a worried glance at Alyn and then cuddle up to go to sleep. Do a little curl, wrap her tail around herself.
Cute kitty. Oh, does Salvian essentially snuggle with Knell or like sleep next to her? Or
Salvia is welcome to. Nell is very warm.
I just don't think like
Sigil-
Salvia answered that. Like, did she take up the offer to sleep next to Knell or not?
She will be a bit shy, but she will also be glad to know where to put her bedroll. So she will sit next to Knell, not exactly cuddling because she doesn't really, she isn't comfortable with them still. So, but she will be happy to be invited and have a place. If that makes any sense, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just bedrolls next to each other, but stay on your own bedroll type thing.
Okay, we'll say everyone settles into sleep and drifts off to the land of dreams. And we're going to take a break. Anyway, our players have now fallen asleep. The fire Gillie had made previously, keeping the tent warm even as its flames dimmed and burned to ash. However, to Gillie a second. Your dreams are filled with pretty crystals and pretty faces. You are very happy about this. But yet you still get the distinct feeling of being watched. And yet being reminded that there is something you still need to do. But you don't know what it is. It keeps bugging you, even in your dreams. And eventually it does disturb you from your sleep. At this point, the fire has dimmed to almost nothing. The others are asleep, their soft breaths echoing in the tent, or snores if they snore. You can hear the occasional movement of the guards outside the tent. All is quiet. Everything is peaceful. And yet you're awake regardless. Not by choice.
I wake up. I'm just kind of looking around, looking at the fire. Contemplate life for a moment. The whole, why am I awake? I was streaming something. He's gonna try to get out of the tent and not disturb anyone. To go outside.
You succeed in that pretty easily. Everyone is rather spaced out despite the size of the tent.
He looks around outside and then tries to kind of wander off into an area where there's not many people, where he isn't going to be disturbed, and then he's gonna kind of shimmy out his necklace that he always wears. He just normally has it hidden because it's precious to him. And he's gonna just kind of hold it up, kind of do a little kiss, and just kind of pray. Trying and his new quiet. And he's just kind of doing a kind of what he was taught from a young age. Just kind of mutter his prayers, thanking the gods for bringing a new day. Well, his god bringing a new day, guiding him through life and on his journey so far. Just a normal, small thanks and hope that his god's doing well wherever they are in the world or heavens. Just a small little one. Nothing specific.
Alright then. You mutter your prayer. And everything around you seems to still. But a gentle breeze ghosts around you, and you hear this light, bell-like laughter echo through your ears and your mind. You feel gratitude, as well as amusement, embrace you. You know your god has heard you, and seems to be pleased, yet amused.
Love it.
By everything that has happened recently. And the warmth drifts away just as the breeze begins to blow once more.
Well, then he will go back, kick open the tent, and be like, "Morning, everyone! It's time to start our day." Even though if everyone's still sleeping, even the tent camp probably looks still sleeping, but he's awake, and so everybody else must be awake now.
Okay, I will point out that this is probably like 3 in the morning.
Yep, nope, he's still doing it.
Alright then.
Everyone gets to be awake now because he's awake and he felt this rush of energy, so that was a sign that he must start his day. So
Knell will jump and grab her fucking sword.
Alright, we'll grab her staff too and look around, try and figure out what's going on.
Kiira is also awake and very startled, trying to remember where she was. And just her eyes just looks at the tiefling disturbing her sleep.
Gillie goes
Yeah.
over, and prepares to roll his bedroll up. He's like, "It's time. It's morning. I'm awake. I feel the call of adventure, and I am going onward to adventure."
Yeah, it is 3 in the morning. It's still dark outside. Everyone has now been forcefully woken up. And all of you see just
Salvya.
Gillie just Gillie rolling up their bed.
Oh.
Kiira-
Knell is going to go and wrap her arms around Gillie, say no, and pull him down to the bed, curl around him, and go to fucking sleep. No. Bad. Sleep. Give him some little pets on his head.
Kiira just turns around and goes back to sleep.
Now, can you roll for strength, please? And can Gillie do the same? Does Gillie resist being pulled back to bed on this bedroll?
Yes, he will, because he felt this rush and he must go. His people need him.
Alright then.
Efficient in strength, so.
Yeah, contested strength.
Oh, contested strength.
Well,
yeah,
I need to roll
so
something
you roll
too?
strength. You need to roll strength as well.
His people need him! He must go!
Rolled a 16.
He gets free!
Plus 3, that's 19.
Oh, you
Gillie
actually...
gets free.
No. She actually holds me just barely because I have a -1, so I have 18. And if she has 19, she barely holds me, but I'm trying to get out.
Yeah, essentially it's like more of a struggle. The pair of you look like you're wrestling on the bedroll.
I must go,
But
my
I'm
people
holding you, damn it.
No,
Yeah.
people need me.
You're
I
staying
must
right
go.
here. We're going to sleep.
No,
I did not get my 8 hours.
but people need me. I must go.
Nobody gets to heal if we don't get our full 8 hours. We're sleeping.
You need to be more persuasive. Make a persuasion roll. See if you persuade him.
It doesn't matter. I'm holding on to you. Staying.
Yeah, essentially we'll say Gillie ended up on his belly and Knell is on his back trying to pin him to the floor to force him to sleep.
Kiira lifts her head and just grunts, "Let him go. Take him out. So we can all just sleep."
I need to sleep. Gillie, just sleep. Sleep, please. We need sleep.
Well, what's in it for me then? He stops for a moment. Do you want a bargain?
You could sleep here with me, and we can curl up and cuddle until the morning.
I'm persuaded. Let's cuddle. He'll wiggle around and shove his face into your chest, and he's like, "Yeah, perfect."
This works. This is fine. Let's sleep.
Then he proceeds to go right to sleep because he's out.
Alright
God.
then. Alright then. Gillie has successfully been persuaded to go back to sleep. Um, I will say.
I know him a little bit by now.
Okay. Now, you gain inspiration for that convincing.
Oh, nice. Where do I put that?
Should be a little box above proficiency bonus. Should be like a little tick box that you can just tick. Or color in or whatever. Just make sure you can remove it.
Okay. My own list of stuff. I will put my inspiration right up here at the top.
It's supposed to be at the top anyway, so that doesn't matter. I will say that inspiration is 1d6. So just remember that.
Ooh.
So yeah, you drift off back to sleep for maybe another hour, 2 hours or so, for more noise disturbs your rather peaceful sleep as the sounds of the encampment begin to echo.
Illy automatically wakes up with the noise. Eyes just pop open, sees fluffy chest in front. He's like, hey, yeah. But then wiggles out of sleeping arms to try to be free because the day has officially started. He can no longer stay in bed. He's very he's a morning person. So he's like, it's morning, I gotta be up, I gotta go do something, my people need me.
She will be awake too because she's also a morning person, despite, all the bullshit that happened yesterday.
Now awake or close to.
Alyn is grumpy because she got woken up and wasn't able to sleep very well as she tried to go back to sleep.
So yeah, the noise of the camp has woken you all up. You know that from Kiira that Lord Redwin is going to speak to you at some point this morning, but you don't know when. But in the meantime, most of your morning is free to yourselves. What would you like to do?
Ellie packs up all of his things, requests his spare bedroll back so he can properly put things away because he's very meticulous. He makes
Kiira dumps it on him as she walks out.
He just makes sure everything is in its proper place because now he is sober. He has all his minds and wits to him, and now he has to do things in a precise way. And so he does. He's very quiet and concentrating and making sure everything fits into his bedroll just right. Or his backpack just right. And then when he is done with that, he'll get it on, and he will walk out with purpose because his people need him.
After she dumped the bedroll on the tiefling, she's outside and heads towards the middle of the camp, seeking for perhaps breakfast.
Knell is up and she will test her leg, see how that's doing, make sure the bandages didn't bleed through in the night. And assuming that Gillie isn't gonna run off and leave the camp or something, I assume he's just going to run around and look for more ways to make money or woo the local ladies. I will go and check on Alyn.
Checks her, or she packs up what little she got out, cleaning up her stuff, and checks out her arm. It looks better now. Not great, but it's looking better than it did the day before.
After checking on her and knowing that she's okay and fretting over her a little bit, Knell will pack up her bedroll and go out to check on her meat that was cooking last night?
She will be checking on Alyn and Knell after she collects her bedroll and all that, like the others did. And well, after checking on the two to see if they are okay, she will probably follow one of them.
Follow who? Which two?
Maybe she will follow Knell since she's the one going out of the tent. And she's not sure about people there.
Like maybe over half hour, all of you progress to like outside and head towards the center where you all had your dinner. And the smell of roasting meat, as well, it seems to what looks like bread being passed around, indicates that morning breakfast is being served. Now, after your wander around, you find the original person who was cooking your meat, and you are directed to where it's been generously stored into a lined sack of sorts that you use to store meat inside.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, I finished cooking last night. Someone says, the
Thank-
guy offering over the bag.
Thank you so much. Oh, it smells lovely.
Hmm.
Would you like to be paid for this? I have some coin if you.
Nah, it's alright. We just used what was left of the flames, so no harm, no foul.
Oh, that's
I
lovely.
didn't go
Thank
out
you
my way
so
for
much.
it.
Would you like some of it? I could share. You did cook it.
It's alright, we've got plenty of supplies here. Besides, adventurers need their food. You never know when you're not going to have it again.
This is true. Thank you again so much.
You're welcome. Seems like you've been to see the healer as well. Before you
Yes.
shove off, if you're going to leave again today, I'd suggest checking in with her. Just to make sure that leg's all healed up and ready for the road, so to speak.
Yes, it sounds like a good idea. Thank you so much for everything.
No harm. Now go on, enjoy the rest of your morning and get some breakfast if you can.
All right, thank you again. And Nell will turn and probably nibble on some of her freshly cooked meat and head towards the healer's tent. And since Salvia is there too, and they'll probably notice this, she will also offer some meat to Salvia.
You sure? You did really well with it.
Oh, I'm not the only one who fought the wolves.
Oh, well, you're right. Well, if you're sure, thank you very much for it.
I think you need to see the healer for too. She's very nice.
I'm fine
Alright then.
myself.
I assume Kiira was in the main circle, like the center of the encampment, getting food herself?
She went and grabbed some food, yeah.
Okay, was like there anything specific Kiira was aiming to do while getting some rest?
Not really. She's just looking around, kind of checking the atmosphere around.
Sure, roll perception for me then.
She's quite sleepy this morning and 3 or 4.
Fair enough. You like this kind of atmosphere. It's quiet. Nobody's at each other's throats. Just the gentle sounds of work being dealt with. You like this kind of atmosphere. It's enough to almost put you to sleep again. And Gillie, where did you run off to?
He went to get some breakfast and kind of mull over his own thoughts at the moment because he is feeling like he's not quite sure how he ended up in this camp. He notices his money bag is a little more heavier and he isn't displeased at that, but he's kind of wondering how did he manage to get to this money. He's kind of questioning a few things. So he's probably just sitting around where the food is, eating, contemplating at this moment.
So when you surface from your thoughts for a brief moment, you notice Alyn and Kiira are around, but Salvya and Knell have not appeared yet. Or have disappeared again, rather.
He'll kind of look at as he's eating the bread and thinks he's not feeling a real strong desire to be here at the camp, but he also doesn't really feel like he needs to be anywhere specific at this moment in time. So he's gonna go try to find Knell, because he woke up with this fluff, and he remembers this pretty face, and he was just like, you know what? I gotta cuddle with this kitty. I'm gonna go find them. So that's where he's gonna do. He's gonna go wander and try to find her.
Oh, good.
All right then. We'll head over to Knell and Salvya then at the healer's tent. There's already some movement from the tent. As the healer wanders about, and you can already see some people who have got some injuries. Looks to be miners, and perhaps one unlucky guard.
Knell will peek into the tent and see that there are occupants, and her ears are immediately gonna perk with concern, and she's gonna look towards the healer and see if she's currently busy or if she's available or...
She seems to be just wrapping up one of the guard's arm in bandages. And from here, and you can see and smell that it's already soaking with the blood.
Knell will step further into the tent and ask, what did something happen? Is he okay?
Someone she looks at. Oh, hello again.
Oh, yes.
He's
hi,
fine. Just a training accident.
Yeah, I know how that is. I was told that I should probably come and and have you look at my leg again. If you have the time. I see you're kind of busy.
Certainly, I'm just finished up here. If you hop up on the table that you were on yesterday, I'll be most grateful.
All right. And Nell will go and hop onto the table. And of course, she's still using her walking stick because she was told not to use her leg too much.
At this point, Illy's just popping his head in every single tent trying to find the cat.
Takes a while, but you eventually get to the healer's tent.
I find Knell and I walk up and be like, why hello. I remember waking up next to you this morning. Did we have any fun activities?
Hey, hello. I don't personally think that last night was all that fun, but there was sleep.
He looks slightly disappointment, but not really disappointed all at the same time. You can tell really obviously it's more than an act of disappointment than an actual true disappointment. Because he honestly doesn't care either which way. He's more talk than actually action, so... then he's just like, huh. So, can you inform me what I did yesterday? It's kind of a little blurry.
Yes, I suppose you were quite drunk. Well, we you got drunk, and then you found out about some stuff that you were very interested in that was over here, and then we came over here, and we were attacked by wolves, and then we slept here last night.
Yeah, seems like a normal day for me then. Okay. Is there a reason why we are still here? Did I make any sort of promises yet that I must fulfill?
Uh, well, I think that Kiira said that she offered our services to do something. She said something about a job, and I don't think I heard anything else about that. We should probably talk to Kiira.
Well, I guess I could stick around a little longer, but I feel like I need to go places, and I don't feel like this place is here. But I can stick
Oh,
around.
wherever you go, I would like to go with you because yesterday I was talking to you, and you said that you saw someone that I was looking for, and now that you are not drunk, maybe later you could talk to me about that some more if you could, please.
I can give you any information that I do have, but as I don't really quite recall what we talked about, I apparently we've been together for a while, and I will honestly be
Today.
truthful. I don't remember much. I know I've said that, but I don't quite remember much. I
Yes,
apologize.
you
I will say
yeah,
while this
you always
conversation is happening, the healer is checking over now, and dealing with her leg.
That's good, because I was going to comment on that.
And today, Illy really doesn't give even 2 cents towards the healer like she did. He did the previous time he saw the healer. It was almost like this person was just it's just a person now, and he really shows no interest like he did before.
Alright, well, after the healer does the stuff is when Knell will focus on asking Gillie about her dad.
Okay, the healer finishes up pretty quickly. There you go, all better. Not so
Okay.
much of you might have a bit of a scar, but
Yes, well,
it'll be an
that's
amazing story to
nothing.
tell.
It's fine. The fur covers most of things like that. Oh, I have a friend who her arm was hurting last night. Is it alright if I send her by later?
Of course.
Alright.
Obviously,
Uh,
if you're still in the camp still, I certainly don't
yeah,
mind.
yeah. She said it was nothing, but if it's hurting her more, then I will send her this way. But for now,
Of course.
Gillie, I need to speak with you. Thank you again, Miss Healer Lady. Uh, thank you so much.
My name's
And
Jeanette.
Jeanette. Oh, Jeanette, thank you. I will remember your name. Uh, I I I don't know if I will be around for very much longer, but I will remember you, and I thank you very much.
Who knows? Maybe the god willing we'll meet again.
Hopefully not due to needing to see you.
At the mentions of a god, this perks Illy's interest, and he looks over to this healer. Like this is like the first time he's really looked at her since being back in the tent, and he was like, "Oh, you praise one of the gods? Which gods of the 6 do you praise?" He's very interested in this now.
Vita, the goddess of healing. Well, goddess of life, technically.
He nods. He really doesn't know too much about that one, but he's happy when people talk to him about the gods, so it reminds him of home. And he's like,
Might I ask who you praise?
Serenity, may our goddess of happiness be praised. And he like reaches up his arms and all happy like he's like
It's God, not goddess.
God.
I'll
Oh,
point that
God.
out.
God's. That's right. I haven't remembered everyone quite yet. The god Serenity, may he be praised.
Well, you
And
do have a
Knell
rather
doesn't have
positive
much of
attitude.
Oh, why, thank you. And then he focuses
Knell,
back over at Knell again.
Knell doesn't know much about the gods, so she's just standing quietly until Gillie looks back to her. She's like, "Oh, okay. Is it okay if I ask you about stuff now?"
Could you not do it in my tent, maybe,
Yes,
says Jeanette?
yes. I would like to step out and talk to you, Gillie, if that's okay.
Perfectly fine. And he starts to proceed to walk out because he may be sober, but he'll still just yeet out of there. He's like, no, I'm going this way now.
All right, we'll find a quiet spot to step out of the way of people because Knell is considerate like that.
Alright, shall we clarify, is Salvia is following?
Right, Salvia.
Yeah, since the two were talking, I think she wouldn't be sure if she should follow. She may just go out of the tent and wait a bit far away, unless they tell her to follow.
Yeah, I'm not being secretive or anything like that, so you are welcome to come along. You're not getting any go away looks or anything like that.
Neither Knell or Gillie are being secretive about it. Walk out of the tent. And just like head off towards a more quiet section. It's still quite early in the morning, so it's quiet mostly everywhere. But it's just like they head to like a couple of where some barrels are, just like stacked around, and decide to just stop there.
Since they didn't seem secretive or anything, she will a bit hesitantly or shyly, but follow them. Like she doesn't want to enter alone in the camp.
Okay. So, Gillie, yesterday I asked you if you had seen another tabaxi that looked a little bit like me, but older, dirtier. He has a scar over one of his eyes. It's kind of a prominent thing on his face. I should have mentioned that yesterday. I didn't. But you said that you saw him in a town, a city, 2 years ago. Seattle. Seattle. I remembered this time. But you said you saw him about 2 years ago. Do you remember anything else about when you saw him?
I would have to roll something to know if I know anything else than that. Hold on.
Certainly. Roll history. And
14.
Alyn, roll perception.
I have a 14 on history.
14. Cast with your mind a bit more clear now. You remember that you remember seeing somebody who pretty much looked like a male version of Knell, running away from some guards. If you remember the situation correctly, don't know if he was running towards or away. You can't remember that specifically, but you know there were a lot of guards near the individual. And you remember shouting a lot. It's like you remember one particular shout. from one of the guards is like, "Where is the prophecy child?" That phrase has always stuck with you. And it was rather a curious thing for a guard to say. You know for a fact prophecies are rather sacred, at least where you're from.
As I look, kind of trying to recall, or like looking at the Nell's face and trying to gauge if I knew any more, and I was like, oh yes, I remember that. It was such a weird moment that it actually really stuck with me. He was running away. There were some guards chasing after him, and the most thing that I remember most about it was they were talking. They were saying something about a prophecy child, and well, I'm a monk. Well, I used to be a monk. Kind of still am a monk. It's a long story, but so it really stuck with me because, well, there's been lots of stories about different prophecies, and so it just kind of made me curious. I could never find them again after that, though, because I was really curious. I wanted to know more about what this prophecy was about, but alas, it's a mystery that still is unsolved.
Oh, and Nell looks incredibly concerned because people running after her dad and something about a prophecy. She has no idea what could be going on. Like, what is her dad getting himself into? Uh, and this was 2 years ago, you said? Salvia! Salvia, you're still here. Do you recall seeing anything like that? Have you seen an older tabaxi? You've been around. I don't actually know anything about you though. Have you well, do you travel much? Have you seen
I'm
anything
afraid
like the tabaxi I've described?
I haven't seen a lot of tobacco around. I started traveling recently, 5 months.
Oh.
So I just saw people around in my way here.
Well, uh, I suppose I should speak to the guards in Seattle and ask them why they were chasing my dad. My papa's not a bad person. He's not. He's a very good person. He wouldn't have angered guards for no reason. I'm sure of it.
At this, Elite almost feels possessed and just himself puts his hand on the shoulder. It's like, when I've learned about prophecies in my own time and whatnot, and if they were trying to find a child of prophecy, and you just happen to wander in looking for your father, being technically his child, looking a lot like him, that sounds like a lot of trouble that you could get into. I just would be
So
wary
yeah,
about such things because that just doesn't seem safe.
They
yes,
must be mistaken. You see, because he's never talked to me about anything like that. And he talks to me. He did. He talked to me about everything. I Nell has no idea what's going on. She's very concerned. She wants to go check things out, but she also Gillie
Salvia
has a point.
will, yes, Salvia will uh, a bit hesitantly but put a hand on her shoulder and agree with Gillie. I think she has a point. If they were chasing your dad, who says they're not going to trap you to try to lure him in?
I understand. I see your points, but it's my dad. It's my papa. I have to. If that's where he was last seen, then I need to go and I need to ask at least. I don't know where he is. I need to find him. He wouldn't have just disappeared for no reason, you know? So I
We'll say while this conversation is happening between Knell, Gillie, and Salvya, go to Kiira and Alyn. The pair of you are still in the center of the encampment by the fire. From your vantage points, at various points of the circle, you can see the Lord out in the open, bent over a table, talking with a couple of what seem to be higher-ranking guards, perhaps knights. That the Lord had mentioned earlier to Kiira. He seems to be pointing stuff out on what seems to be some parchment paper, maybe a map, maybe a document of some kind. You're not 100% certain. But you see that the Lord has looked up and has spotted Kiira and gestures for one of the people around him to head over towards Kiira. So Kiira, you see this tall figure come towards you, wearing a horned sort of helmet with these horns going up and back from towards the center of where a set of eyes should be. The armor is thick, heavy plate, and you can see a long sword on this individual's hip, as well as a shield on the back. It reminds you a little bit of Knell, but obviously this person is a lot taller and seems to be a bit bulkier. Are you the one who spoke with the Lord yesterday?
Yes, indeed, I was.
Can you gather up your companions and meet us back here to present them in front of the Lord? He does have a job for you. He is willing to pay.
I will do so. Just give me a few moments.
Of course. And so the large figure wanders back over to the table and speaks to the Lord. So Kiira, from where you're sitting, you can only see Alyn. You can't see the other three of your group.
I go to Alyn.
She looks at her like, yes, without saying it.
So, do you happen to know where the others went?
Did they mention it to her where they went? Or in her proximity?
That would be a no.
No, I don't think I know where they went. They went that direction, she said, pointing.
Okay. The Lord Redwind would want to speak with us now, so we need to go and find them. Wanna join me, or will you wait here?
Guess I'll join, she said.
Alrighty then. So, Kiira and Alyn, you begin your search for the rest of your group. Back with the three, you have finished your conversation and have somewhat left it in a somber mood, although Gillie isn't exactly paying attention. Due to this rather interesting individual that seems to walk past that's caught your gaze. But Knell and Salvin, you do notice Kiira and Alyn heading towards you.
I will perk up and look towards them because I noticed them. I assume I noticed them.
Yes, you do notice them.
I will shelf the conversation that I was just having with Salvia because I don't know what to think of it just yet, and there were things that we were going to be doing today. And Kiira was one of the people I needed to ask about that.
So the Lord would want to see us now. So if you follow me back to the the middle area, we can have a chat with him. He's promised to
Alright,
pay us for some work if we work for him.
money would probably be a good thing. I think I might need to do some traveling soon. Uh, Alyn, you, how is your arm again today? The healer said that she would see you if you need to to see her.
She shrugged. It's okay. It's better than it was yesterday, anyway.
Uh, are you sure you don't want to have it looked over?
I'll do it after. I guess, yeah. But after we talked to them, he wanted to talk to us.
Alright. Gillie, do you want to come? The offer was made to all of us.
I will hear what they have to say, but it depends on the price of the coin he's willing to pay.
Alright, I suppose lead the way, Kiira.
Kiira just turns around and starts walking back.
Alright then. So, our party of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heads back towards the center of the encampment where Lord Redwyn and his knights are standing around and discussing. The knight that went to Kiri to inform her of to gather the others notices you first and directs his lord's attention to you lot. So Lord Redwyn turns around. Ah, so this is the companions you have.
Yes, we are currently missing one, but she might be joining us later.
Of course. I do have a job for you, but it's not exactly the most safest. But I promise to pay well. If you're interested.
Illy slides
When-
over closer. How much are you talking about?
What he said.
Alien just looks interested, not
It's
saying
like-
anything.
Oh, the Redwyn looks you all over.
I would like to know what it's about, since you say it's dangerous.
A good point as well. But what sort of dangers are you having?
Perhaps I'll explain our situation, and then you can decide for yourself if this work is worth the coin I'm willing to pay. Sound fair?
Yes.
Kiira nods.
Yes.
Alright then.
Illy will get very close to him, and as Kiira is on this money, because he is very chaotic, and he will be like, how much money? What is it? And he gets like almost tries to get cozy.
Alright then. You do so, but you hear this slight growl, and the air around you gets a bit colder, as what seems to be like fog or steam or something of a white powder is coming from where the mouth would be on this helmeted knight that Kiira spoke to. I'd kindly suggest you just back up a pace.
I get close to the guard. I take your breath away.
The guard in response just blows like the powdered air away into Gillie's face, and shouldn't have done that.
I have no regrets.
That's
Kiira.
6 cold damage.
Frosty.
Kiira tries to grab the tiefling by their collar to pull them a bit back.
Okay, roll for strength to pull them back. Gillie
No.
can roll.
Nah, Illy just follows. He has no issue. He's not gonna try to stay his ground or anything. So he can easily be pulled away.
Fair enough. You pull Gillie back. Gillie's hair looks rather frosty, as well as like their cheekbones. They look like they just got bitten by ice.
Knell is slightly amused. Been trying not to show it.
He totally likes me.
Forgive, sir. Forgive my knight here, Sir Igneous. He's not exactly one of the more common races around here.
I'd like to please beg forgiveness for our tiefling as well.
It's quite
I
alright.
promise he does not mean any harm. He's just.
I've met your friend's type before. Please, gather around the table, and I will explain the situation to you. He says, gesturing to the table.
I will gather around the table.
Kiira will also go by the table and also lets go of the tiefling.
My face feels a little numb, but he proceeds to the table.
Kiira also kind of looks a bit strongly towards the tiefling, kind of warning that don't do anything stupid now.
Okay. Are you telling Gillie essentially?
I'm trying to tell him by staring at him, but I don't know if he even notices it.
No, he doesn't.
Strong
He's just like
glare.
touching his face at this time. He's like, it's numb. It's gonna hurt like a bitch once it thaws.
Anyway then, if that's the case, Lord Redwin gestures down onto the table, which reveals somewhat of a map that's like half complete. The entrance to our mines are here. We've managed to excavate at least a good 150 feet into the mountain. Unfortunately, we keep getting a collapsed tunnel. But when we examine it, it's not natural cause.
So somebody is collapsing your mine?
Yes, someone or something. We're not sure.
And you don't know what?
From what we've found, the individual, we'll say, has rather long sort of claws. And it's definitely somewhat... It walks and stands upright from the boot boot or footprints that we found. My job for you and your companions, is for you to enter the mines and dispose of whatever is collapsing the tunnels. Because we have so little information on what is doing it, I understand that this job would be considered rather high risk.
But it's just one thing, right? One person or creature?
That's the thing. We've only found evidence of one. But with how big the tunnels are, you would need multiple people for even it to collapse.
Hmm.
So we're not quite sure if we're dealing with one big thing or multiple of a much smaller scale.
I do have a question then. If we go in and we find that it is over our heads, would you still pay us for the information?
It would be a down payment what I would pay you for you to get rid of it, but yes, I would. It would allow us to strategize more.
All right. I think that is I think that is more than doable. I think we can probably do that. What do you guys think?
How much coin would it be by the end of it if we take out this creature and or creatures? And if it's creatures, would it be paid per creature we take out?
Sound logic.
There's coin
All right
involved.
then. If it's a creature, as in one creature large enough to collapse a whole tunnel, then the payment will be about 100 gold pieces. If it's creatures, then you bring me back evidence for each creature that is slain, and I will tally up 5 gold pieces each.
Now,
For each creature that you bring.
Now, if it is creatures, and if it's only a handful of them, and if it's less than the original 100 gold, would you then equal it out to be the 100 gold? Or is it still going to be that minimal amount per creature?
It would still be the minimal amount per creature.
And I have no interest if it's not at equal to 100 gold. You have lost me. And my interest.
Okay, Gillie needs to roll a persuasion check.
Okay, let me,
And Gillie doesn't remember that he originally came here for crystals.
No, he does not! 18! Let's see, persuasion. Where is that on the list? 20.
Very well. Then, says Redmond, if it turns out to be a handful of creatures, and I will say depending on what they are, the more rare, the higher the coin each. Sound fair?
That
I will equal it
sounds
to the 100.
that sounds
You have
way
piqued my interest
fairer.
again.
May I perhaps should have mentioned that this, if you take down the creature, if it's the single, it would be 100 gold pieces each.
Hot damn, you got me there! What do you need me for? I'd bend over backwards if you want.
Kiira
what-
certainly agrees to this. And then she can see the map right in front of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was the last tunnel that was collapsed? Which of these tunnels were collapsed now recently?
It seems the tunnels that have like a like a big X through them now, indicate collapses. They seem to be rather sporadic, but the main tunnel's the only thing that's essentially has not been touched. It's all the split off channel tunnels. So the whole the whole thing, like the whole tunnel system, goes back 150 feet. So which is quite long. But it's once you get to about 130 feet in, it's where the tunnels start to collapse. Any split offs.
Okay. Kiira still asks them, the Lord, which one of these tunnels was the last one to collapse? Since they were all around.
Oh, Redwin indicates one tunnel closest to the 130 mark. This one. This was the latest tunnel, and one of the oldest. Now,
Kiira kind of nods and kind of thinks a bit, also scans the map.
now that I have your attention properly, do we have a deal?
Alyn nodded.
Knell is still feeling just slightly lightheaded at the thought of getting 100 gold.
We are here for this. We will sign our names in blood if you want, because 100 gold each. I'm here for
Holy
this.
shit.
Kiira agrees and looks at Salvia currently to see her reaction.
Salvia is not quite sure about this, and we try to tell the others that if they try to find or fight against this creature, they shouldn't do it in the mines because they are at high risk of having them to collapse on them, especially if they use strong attacks or magic.
I don't think that we'll be able to get them out of the mine, Salvia, but we can run if it's too dangerous.
We will, of course, try to make a plan, depending on the information and what we see in the caves. We can try to lure it out somehow. In fact, has this creature hurt anybody so far?
There's a couple of guards around who have been hurt by the collapsers. Perhaps they have seen something I didn't think to ask.
That's full information to have if we could speak to one of the guards who might have seen something. Also, would you be able to kit us with any equipment that might help us in there, like healing potions, maybe, or digging equipment if we need it?
Hmm. Well, I can give you some basic equipment. So he says as he nods to one of the knights, and the knight walks off. I will provide a backpack for each of you.
That would be quite useful, thank you.
Yes. Either backpack or tools, depending on what my knight can find. That's in a good condition for a challenge such as this. As for the knights that were in the attack, the only one that was conscious still when we found them was Mr. Whitewing. As far as I'm aware, at this time he's patrolling the outer edge towards the cliff. Best to speak with him.
Alright, would you guys like to go speak with this man with me, or?
I would definitely want to go.
Quick
Also, I
question.
have a question. Do you have is in the bag of tools a pickaxe, perhaps? If there's some rocks or stuff we need to move.
Inside the... I will try to include a pickaxe or two. But bear in mind, it might be just 2.
That would be more than enough, I think.
Now,
Yes, Gillie?
Gillie's question would be, has anybody seen any traces of this monster, be it scales, fur, footprint? You should know best of all, being the head of all of this, what kind of information, so we are the most well informed on what we are tackling.
The things that we have concluded once we've excavated any of the damage, even if we couldn't get back through the tunnel, is that this creature stands upon 2... Either creature or creatures stands on 2 legs. Well, reasonable size. Perhaps no taller than Zerignius here.
That tall drink of water. Iced water.
However, Mr. Whitewing will know more, because he was conscious when a collapsed tunnel happened. Perhaps he saw something I didn't. Or any of us did.
Yes, well, I think that we should speak to the guard who saw something, and perhaps somebody should stay to get the supplies.
Gillie just starts walking off towards where he said the guard was, so.
Uh,
Kiira leaves to follow him.
all right, I
Okay.
suppose I will stay here for the supplies.
She kind of points out back to Knell and tells her to make sure that there's a pickaxe.
Yes, of course. Digging tools are very important if we're going to go into a mine.
Alright then. So Kiri and Gillie are gonna go talk to the guard. The rest are waiting for the supplies. So we're gonna go with Kiri and Gillie. Following the directions from a couple of the other knights, you head towards more the cliff edge. From here you can hear the rushing of the wind as it blows just below the cliff edge. You can hear the birds singing and the construction. You're pointed towards a single knight, or guard, rather, who is stood near the edge, just watching everything go by, watching the birds. The most curious thing about them, as you stare, is the set of white wings on their back, free from the armor that they wear on the rest of their body. They begin to turn, and the two of you see glowing golden eyes. And then our scene fades to black, and we will end our session there.